Barack Obama. May 8, 2018, 12:37 p.m. There are few issues more important to the security of the United States than the potential spread of nuclear weapons, or the potential for even more destructive war in the Middle East. That's why the United States negotiated the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, in the first place. The reality is clear. The JCPOA is working, that is a view shared by our European allies, independent experts, and the current U.S. Secretary of Defense. The JCPOA is in America's interest. It has significantly rolled back Iran's nuclear program. And the JCPOA is a model for what diplomacy can accomplish. Its inspections and verification regime is precisely what the United States should be working to put in place with North Korea. Indeed, at a time when we are all rooting for diplomacy with North Korea to succeed, walking away from the JCPOA risks losing a deal that accomplishes, with Iran, the very outcome that we are pursuing with the North Koreans. That is why today's announcement is so misguided. Walking away from the JCPOA turns our back on America's closest allies, and an agreement that our country's leading diplomats, scientists, and intelligence professionals negotiated. In a democracy, there will always be changes in policies and priorities from one administration to the next. But the consistent flouting of agreements that our country is a party to risks eroding America's credibility, and puts us at odds with the world's major powers. Debates in our country should be informed by facts, especially debates that have proven to be divisive. So it's important to review several facts about the JCPOA. First, the JCPOA was not just an agreement between my administration and the Iranian government. After years of building an international coalition that could impose crippling sanctions on Iran, we reached the JCPOA together with the United Kingdom, France, Germany, the European Union, Russia, China, and Iran. It is a multilateral arms control deal, unanimously endorsed by a United Nations Security Council resolution. Second, the JCPOA has worked in rolling back Iran's nuclear program. For decades, Iran had steadily advanced its nuclear program, approaching the point where they could rapidly produce enough fissile material to build a bomb. The JCPOA put a lid on that breakout capacity. Since the JCPOA was implemented, Iran has destroyed the core of a reactor that could have produced weapons-grade plutonium, removed 2/3 of its centrifuges, over 13,000, and placed them under international monitoring, and eliminated 97% of its stockpile of enriched uranium, the raw materials necessary for a bomb. So by any measure, the JCPOA has imposed strict limitations on Iran's nuclear program and achieved real results. Third, the JCPOA does not rely on trust. It is rooted in the most far-reaching inspections and verification regime ever negotiated in an arms control deal. Iran's nuclear facilities are strictly monitored. International monitors also have access to Iran's entire nuclear supply chain, so that we can catch them if they cheat. Without the JCPOA, this monitoring and inspections regime would go away. Fourth, Iran is complying with the JCPOA. That was not simply the view of my administration. The United States intelligence community has continued to find that Iran is meeting its responsibilities under the deal, and has reported as much to Congress. So have our closest allies, and the international agency responsible for verifying Iranian compliance, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. Fifth, the JCPOA does not expire. The prohibition on Iran ever obtaining a nuclear weapon is permanent. Some of the most important and intrusive inspections codified by the JCPOA are permanent. Even as some of the provisions in the JCPOA do become less strict with time, this won't happen until 10, 15, 20, or 25 years into the deal, so there is little reason to put those restrictions at risk today. Finally, the JCPOA was never intended to solve all of our problems with Iran. We were clear-eyed that Iran engages in destabilizing behavior, including support for terrorism, and threats toward Israel and its neighbors. But that's precisely why it was so important that we prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Every aspect of Iranian behavior that is troubling is far more dangerous if their nuclear program is unconstrained. Our ability to confront Iran's destabilizing behavior, and to sustain a unity of purpose with our allies, is strengthened with the JCPOA, and weakened without it. Because of these facts, I believe that the decision to put the JCPOA at risk without any Iranian violation of the deal is a serious mistake. Without the JCPOA, the United States could eventually be left with a losing choice between a nuclear-armed Iran or another war in the Middle East. We all know the dangers of Iran obtaining a nuclear weapon. It could embolden an already dangerous regime, threaten our friends with destruction, pose unacceptable dangers to America's own security, and trigger an arms race in the world's most dangerous region. If the constraints on Iran's nuclear program under the JCPOA are lost, We could be hastening the day when we are faced with the choice between living with that threat, or going to war to prevent it. In a dangerous world, America must be able to rely in part on strong, principled diplomacy to secure our country. We have been safer in the years since we achieved the JCPOA, thanks in part to the work of our diplomats, many members of Congress, and our allies. Going forward, I hope that Americans continue to speak out in support of the kind of strong, principled, fact-based, and unifying leadership that can best secure our country and uphold our responsibilities around the globe. Posted to Barack Obama's Facebook page. https://www.facebook.com/barackobama/post/101558549139767749 and to Twitter on tweet. https://twitter.com/barackobama/status/993938824752451586 Words to live by. Art thou dejected? Is thy mind overcast? To chase thy gloom. Go fix some weighty truth. Chain down some passion, do some generous good. Teach ignorance to see, or grief to smile. Correct thy friend, befriend thy greatest foe. Be just in all things, make amends for follies past, and, with warm heart, forgive, and be forgiven. Let work not words thy virtue prove. Go act as well as prate, and then thy counsels will be strong. Thy reprimands avail. Anonymous. The province of the historian is to gather the threads of the past ere they elude forever his grasp and weave them into a harmonious web to which the art preservative may give immortality. Therefore he who would rescue from fast gathering oblivion the deeds of a community and send them on to futurity in an imperishable record should deliver a plain unvarnished tale about words to live by. These words above appear in these titled publications. Elegant Extracts, Volumes 1-2. Vices Imus Nox, 1809 citation found page 142 in chapter titled Sacred and Moral. The works of the Reverend Dr. Edward Young, Volume 3. Edward Young, 1811 citation found page 70 chapter titled The Complaint. Poems Divine and Moral, many of them now first published 1821 citation found page 327 chapter titled Admired Poets heading, Night Aid. Much instruction from little reading, or, extracts from some of the most approved authors, ancient and modern 1827 citation found page 37 chapter titled, Young's Night Thoughts. The Cynosure, being select passages from the most distinguished writers 1837 citation found page 180 quote source cited, Young. Ravensdale, A Tale, Volume 2 Robert Thin, 1845 citation found page 108. The Universalist Leader, Volume 35, Issue 43. 1932 citation found page 659. The Poetical Works of Milton, Young, Gray, Beattie, and Collins John Milton, Edward Young, Thomas Gray, 1836 citation found page 82 in chapter work titled, Young's Works. Paradise Lost, a poem in 12 parts, John Milton, Edward Young, 1850 citation found page 190 section titled, Young's Work The Complaint. Many Thoughts of Many Minds. Compiled by H. Southgate. By Henry Southgate, 1862 citation found page 274. In subject titled, Happiness, Secret of. Treasury of Wisdom, Wit, and Humor, Odd Comparisons and Proverbs, Adam Woolbeaver, Comp. Adam Woolbeaver, 1881 citation found page 184 section. Titled, Happiness beginning page 181. Exercises, Rules, and Hints on Elocution, George Walter Bainham, 1881 citation found in Exercise 12 on page 9. Holy Thoughts on Holy Things selected and arranged by E. Davies 1882, citation found page 244 subject titled Happiness, The Way to Obtain. History of the Counties of McKean, Elk, Cameron, and Potter J. H. Beers & Co., 1890 citation found preface page 3, noteworthy to being the full titled usage source of words to live by as being first line preface go fix some weighty truth and ending line citation usage plain unvarnished tale. The work continues here for a brief couple more additional lines which relates the author's intention onto these words that appear as preface to this titled work. They continue. Quote, in such a spirit have the compilers of the following pages approached the work of detailing the history embodied therein, and trust they have been fairly faithful to the task imposed. It has been their honest endeavor to trace the history of the development of this section from that period when it was in the indisputable possession of the red man to the present, and to place before the reader an authentic narrative of its rise and progress to the prominent position it now occupies in the Keystone State. End quote. This statement, source of words to live by, goes to the integrity of honesty of conscience, guidance of doing one's best, approach work to the qualification scale of excellence. There is no better quotation found in literature that this modern-day historian-gatherer has found that can return back and reply some moral values from the past and return them back into modern-day living life. If anyone has other words of guidance not full of dogma beliefs, I welcome those words to be included in the Grow Up Peace-Building collective work here on site. End of expanded notation on this titled work. The Essays of George Eliot. George Eliot, Nathan Shepard, 2009. Citation found page 240 in chapter titled Worldliness and Otherworldliness. And many other publications can be found by a Google book search. Quote, "Go fix some weighty truth." End quote. More information can be found and discussed at this link. http://wikiworld.com/wiki/index.php/words to live by. Contact email address regarding this information. Words to live by web page inquires at growup.net. At Grow Up 2018, Great Reasons Us Will Unite Peace. Copyright 2012 by James Martin Driscoll, all rights reserved.